Former President Trump is speaking at the Economic Club of New York. Let's bring in Eamon Javers with the headlines. Eamon.
Hey there, Kelly. Take a live look in now. The former president is taking some Q&A at the Economic Club of New York. As we're talking right now, he's wrapped up his prepared remarks and is talking to the audience there. The former president engaging in sort of a lengthy discussion here during the hour or so of his remarks about tariffs, tariff policy, giving a bit of a history lesson about former President William McKinley, who Donald Trump views as an underrated president, saying that tariffs work. They bring down costs over time. They protect American industries for the long run, and they generate revenue for the U.S. government. He also announced that he favors a 15% corporate tax rate, but with a catch. Take a listen.
My plan calls for expanded R&D tax credits, 100% bonus depreciation, expensing for new manufacturing investments, and a reduction in the corporate tax rate from 21% to 15% solely for companies that make their product in America.
So that last part is the key, Kelly, and we'll have to ask the campaign exactly how they're going to define that. But the former president saying he favors bringing corporate rates down from 21 to 15%, but that 15% only goes to companies that manufacture their products in the United States. So we'll get some more guidance on the details around all that from the campaign. But clearly just a caveat here with all the Harris proposals that are out there on tax and all the Trump proposals that are out there on tax. These are proposals during a campaign season. These candidates would have to get elected and then pass them through Congress, the makeup of which is unclear right now before any of that can become law.
And it was fun, by the way, to see Becky and Larry and some of the journalists sitting up there with him. But, Eamon, we're clearly getting to the policy stage of this campaign cycle, and the betting odds will now reflect probably voters weighing much more the nitty-gritty of what the two of them would actually do. Do we think there's more gap emerging now between their policies, when we've heard previously, when we were talking more broad brushes, that they were both in some ways flip sides of a coin?
Yeah, I mean, look, these are emotional appeals, really, what you're seeing on the campaign trail. I mean, the former president beginning his remarks today denouncing Kamala Harris, saying that the United States is in the midst right now of what he calls an economic nightmare. So, you know, they're real emotional hooks here, but they're trying with these various policy prescriptions to rope in specific groups, right? The former president here very clearly speaking to corporate shareholders, saying we're going to lower corporate taxes. That's going to be good for you. It's going to be good for the stock market. We saw Kamala Harris with some of her proposals speaking specifically to Silicon Valley, perhaps by suggesting that she's going to deviate from some of President Biden's proposals. You know, they are very much micro-targeting with some of these specific proposals, even as they're engaging in these overall emotional appeals to voters more broadly. And
we're still waiting to hear from the Biden administration if they are going to try to block the Nippon deal for U.S. Steel. I know that was something Trump and Harris have both also said that they would like to see done. Eamon, for now, thanks.